Amanda Hartley stood by the vast floor-to-ceiling window of her sprawling mansion, her eyes tracing the rain as it softly blurred the manicured gardens beyond. The weight of silence in the house pressed down on her chest, heavier than the gray skies outside. This house, her fortress of success, felt more like a prison. Despite the glittering trophies of her business empire and the countless accolades adorning her office walls, Amanda's heart ached with loneliness. Her son, Liam, retreated into a world she couldn't reach, a world where words were scarce and emotions were veiled behind guarded eyes. She had hired Rosa Velasquez a week ago, hoping this new presence might stir some light into the shadowed corners of their lives. Rosa was a quiet woman, with eyes that held stories untold, and a calmness that seemed to settle the restless air. Amanda remembered watching her move through the house with gentle steps, as if aware of every fragile thing around her, especially Liam. The boy's silence was like an invisible wall between mother and son, and Amanda often wondered if Rosa's arrival could help dismantle that barrier, even just a little. The mansion was immense, each room a testament to Amanda's relentless drive and ambition. But no matter the size or the luxury, it couldn't mask the hollow echoes that bounced off the marble floors when Liam wandered alone. Amanda often caught herself longing for a simple smile, a shared laugh, or even just a word from her son, anything that could remind her he was there, with her, present in the moment. Watching Rosa patiently sit beside Liam during those long afternoons, Amanda felt a flicker of hope. Maybe Rosa's quiet kindness was the thread that could weave them back together. Yet beneath the surface of her hope was a gnawing anxiety. Could Rosa truly understand Liam? Could she reach him where Amanda had failed? There was so much Amanda wished she could fix, so many pieces of her broken family scattered across time and misunderstanding. But for now, all she could do was watch, wait, and silently pray that this stranger, this woman with kind eyes and steady hands, might be the change they desperately needed. As the rain continued to fall, Amanda turned from the window and walked slowly down the grand hallway, the soft thud of her heels on polished wood marking the rhythm of her restless heart. This was only the beginning of something uncertain, fragile, and yet full of promise. The days that followed Rosa's arrival were marked by a strange tension in the house, an unspoken battle between Amanda's hope and her lingering doubts. Rosa moved quietly through the halls, her presence almost like a gentle pulse beneath the cold luxury of the mansion. Amanda watched her with a mixture of suspicion and curiosity, unsure whether this quiet woman held the key to the boy she loved but could not reach. One afternoon, Amanda returned home early from a meeting, the weight of exhaustion dragging at her shoulders. She expected the usual silence, the familiar stillness that made the house feel like a mausoleum. Instead, she heard a faint murmur coming from the study. Her steps faltered as she approached, heart pounding in that strange rhythm of surprise and anxiety. Through the slightly ajar door, Amanda caught sight of Rosa sitting cross-legged on the floor, a small, worn book open in her lap. Liam sat across from her, eyes fixed on the pages, lips moving softly as if repeating the words. But it was not the soft sounds Amanda had expected. The boy's voice, fragile and hesitant at first, grew clearer, more confident, as he stumbled over syllables in languages Amanda barely recognized. Italian, French, a whisper of Japanese. Amanda's breath caught in her throat. This was not the Liam she knew, the boy who had locked himself away in silence and shadows. This was a new Liam, fragile but blooming, reaching for something beyond the walls of his quiet world. Yet Amanda's instincts warred within her. Part of her feared this strange breakthrough, afraid that Rosa's unconventional methods would only confuse or overwhelm her son. She stepped back silently, retreating down the hallway, the strange mixture of hope and fear twisting in her chest. The next day, Amanda confronted Rosa, voice sharp with the stress of her conflicting emotions. "You can't just teach him like that," she said, eyes blazing. "You don't know what he's ready for. You're crossing boundaries." Rosa's calm gaze met Amanda's fire without flinching. "Amanda, I see Liam in a way no one else has," she said quietly, her voice steady but filled with an unyielding conviction. "He's not just silent because he can't speak. He's waiting for someone to understand how to reach him. Please trust me. But Amanda's world had been built on control and certainty, and the idea of surrendering any piece of that to a stranger was unbearable. With a heavy heart, she told Rosa that she would have to leave. The house, once again, fell into a silence thicker than before. But Amanda's mind refused to rest. That night, she found herself drawn back to the study, watching the surveillance footage she had secretly recorded before sending Rosa away. Her breath hitched as she saw Liam, eyes bright, mouthing words in perfect French, then switching to Spanish, then to Mandarin. The boy's small face shone with something Amanda had never seen: joy, discovery, connection. Tears welled in Amanda's eyes, the walls she had built around herself cracking at last. In the dark, she whispered an apology to the empty room, a silent promise to try again, to trust, to believe in the unseen thread Rosa had begun to weave between Liam and the world. When dawn broke, Amanda picked up her phone and dialed. "Rosa, can you come back? Please," she said, voice trembling with a fragile hope. "I want to understand. I want to believe." And in that moment, the slow, uncertain journey toward healing truly began. The days that followed Rosa's return were filled with quiet breakthroughs and fragile hope. Amanda watched from a distance as Rosa patiently coaxed Liam out of his shell, not with force but with gentle persistence. Slowly, the walls of silence Liam had built began to crumble, brick by brick, revealing glimpses of a boy desperate to connect but afraid to speak. Yet, beneath the surface of this delicate progress, a deeper truth lingered, waiting to be uncovered. One rainy afternoon, Amanda found herself alone in the study, the room heavy with the scent of old books and fading sunlight. Rosa was teaching Liam a new phrase, her voice soft and encouraging, when the boy suddenly froze, his small hands trembling on the page. His eyes, wide and filled with something Amanda hadn't seen before, darted toward a faded photograph tucked beneath the table. Curiosity and a sudden, inexplicable fear gripped Amanda as she moved closer. She reached down and pulled out the photo, a picture of a woman with warm eyes and a tired smile, holding a little boy who looked exactly like Liam. Her heart hammered fiercely. The face was unfamiliar yet hauntingly familiar. Rosa noticed Amanda's gaze and said softly, "That's his mother." The words hit Amanda like a thunderclap. She had always believed Liam's mother had abandoned them years ago, that the past was a closed chapter sealed by pain and silence. But here, in Rosa's steady voice and the fragile image in her hands, lay a truth Amanda had never dared to face. "Where is she?" Amanda whispered, voice breaking, her eyes searching Rosa's for answers. Rosa's expression darkened, shadows crossing her calm demeanor. "She's not gone," Rosa said, voice thick with sorrow. "She's been fighting her own battle, far away, trapped in a place she couldn't escape. I've been trying to find a way to bring her back. For Liam, for you both." The revelation shattered Amanda's carefully constructed world. Memories she had buried long ago resurfaced like ghosts, arguments filled with tears, threats whispered in the dark, promises broken like glass. She realized how blind she had been, how much pain and misunderstanding had shaped their fractured family. Over the next few days, Amanda and Rosa pieced together the fragments of Liam's past. The mother in the photograph was named Elena, a woman who had loved Liam fiercely but had been torn away by circumstances beyond her control. Elena's departure wasn't abandonment but exile, a forced separation by forces Amanda had never imagined. The discovery ignited a fierce determination in Amanda, mixing hope with anguish. She vowed to find Elena, to heal the wounds that had festered in silence for too long. As Liam began to speak more freely under Rosa's care, Amanda's own heart softened. The boy's laughter, once a rare and fragile thing, now echoed softly through the mansion halls. Yet each smile carried the weight of the past and the hope of a future where broken pieces might one day fit together. In the quiet moments, Amanda often found herself watching Liam and Rosa, feeling an unfamiliar gratitude towards the woman who had dared to reveal the hidden truth. She knew the journey ahead would be long and uncertain, filled with difficult confrontations and painful reconciliations. But for the first time in years, Amanda felt a flicker of light inside her, a fragile promise that love, no matter how battered or lost, could still find its way home. The air in the mansion felt heavier now, as if the walls themselves held their breath, waiting for the moment the past would finally break through the fragile calm. Amanda found herself unable to focus on anything but the truth that Rosa had uncovered. A truth that was no longer a distant shadow but an urgent, living presence demanding to be faced. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky with bruised purples and fiery oranges, Rosa invited Amanda to sit with her in the quiet library, where secrets had a way of surfacing between the dust motes and fading ink. With a gentle, steady voice, Rosa began to reveal the pieces of a story Amanda had never known, one that would forever change the fragile foundation of their lives. "Elena," she said, her eyes locked with Amanda's, "is not just Liam's mother. She is someone you once knew, someone you loved." The words landed like a thunderclap, shattering the fragile calm inside Amanda's chest. Her breath caught, heart pounding with a mixture of disbelief and dawning recognition. Rosa reached into her bag and pulled out a worn, leather-bound journal, its pages yellowed and filled with delicate handwriting. "This belonged to Elena," Rosa said softly. "She kept it hidden for years, afraid of what the world might do if her truth came out. But it holds everything, her story, her pain, her love for Liam and, for you." Amanda took the journal with trembling hands, the leather warm beneath her fingertips. She opened the first page, and the words spilled out like a river of memories long suppressed. Confessions of love and loss, of a secret that had torn them apart. Elena had been forced to disappear, not by choice, but to protect them both from a danger Amanda had never imagined. The journal spoke of threats, of a hidden past tied to powerful forces beyond their control. Tears welled in Amanda's eyes as she read the final entry, a message meant for her alone, filled with hope and regret. Elena had sacrificed everything to keep Liam safe, hiding her identity and waiting for the day they could be reunited. "I never stopped loving you," the words whispered across time, "and I pray you can forgive me." Amanda's world tilted, her mind racing to grasp the enormity of the revelation. The woman she had thought lost was alive, her love and sacrifice the invisible thread binding their fractured family together. In that moment, the years of silence and pain coalesced into a raw, aching hope. The next days were filled with a restless urgency. Amanda and Rosa pored over every detail, tracing Elena's footsteps through faded photographs, secret letters, and cryptic messages hidden in the journal's margins. The truth revealed a life lived in shadows, Elena's true identity masked by fear, her resilience a silent force that had kept Liam safe in the darkest times. When Liam learned the truth, his eyes, wide with wonder, reflected the fragile light of hope that now burned steadily in Amanda's heart. The boy who had once been lost in silence began to speak not just with words, but with a new sense of belonging. Elena was no longer just a distant memory. She was a living promise of reunion, a bridge between the broken past and the healing future. Amanda held Liam close one night, feeling the weight of the journey they had endured and the fragile light of possibility ahead. The mansion, once cold and silent, now hummed softly with the quiet power of love reborn. And somewhere beyond the walls and shadows, Elena's spirit watched over them, a mother's love transcending time, distance, and fear. The revelation of Elena's true identity was a turning point, not just for Liam, but for Amanda herself. The woman who once clung tightly to control, shaped by years of pain and guarded silence, began to unravel and reshape in ways she had never imagined. It was as though a storm had passed through her soul, stripping away the layers of fear, resentment, and self-doubt that had long held her captive. Amanda found herself standing at a crossroads, between the woman she had been and the one she was destined to become. In the quiet mornings that followed, Amanda would sit by the window overlooking the sprawling garden, sunlight filtering through the leaves like liquid gold. Her eyes, once sharp and guarded, softened with a new kind of vulnerability. She thought of Elena's sacrifices, of the hidden battles fought in shadows to protect the family Amanda had so nearly lost. A deep well of gratitude and sorrow surged within her, mingling with an unexpected hope that stirred something fragile yet fierce inside her chest. She began to see Liam with new eyes, not just as a silent, wounded boy but as a beacon of resilience and innocence deserving of boundless love and understanding. Her days filled with small acts of tenderness, the gentle way she brushed his hair back from his forehead, the patience in her voice when he struggled to speak, the warmth in her smile when he finally uttered a word or laughed softly. Each moment became a thread weaving them closer, stitching together the fabric of a family frayed by years of loss. Amanda's nights, however, were a different kind of journey. Alone in her room, the weight of her own guilt and regrets pressed down on her like a heavy fog. Memories of past mistakes, harsh words exchanged in anger, and opportunities lost clawed at her heart. But rather than retreating into bitterness, Amanda allowed herself to truly feel the pain, the remorse, and the yearning for redemption. Tears often came unbidden, cleansing her soul, and with each tear shed, a quiet resolve grew stronger. She began to seek out Rosa not just as a helper for Liam but as a confidant and guide. Their conversations stretched late into the night, filled with raw honesty and gentle encouragement. Rosa's presence was a balm, a steady force reminding Amanda that healing was a process, a journey that required courage and patience. Through these dialogues, Amanda found the strength to confront the shadows of her own past and to forgive herself for the walls she had built too high. Slowly, the mansion transformed alongside Amanda's heart. What had once felt cold and oppressive now blossomed with warmth and light. Rooms echoed with laughter, tentative but genuine. Walls once heavy with silence now vibrated with whispered stories and shared dreams. Amanda found joy in simple rituals, reading bedtime stories to Liam, planting flowers in the garden, even allowing herself moments of quiet reflection and peace. Most importantly, Amanda began to envision a future not dictated by fear or loss but by hope and love. She dreamed of reuniting with Elena, of watching Liam grow surrounded by the family he deserved. The past, with all its pain, became a foundation for building something new, something beautiful and unbreakable. In this transformation, Amanda discovered not just the power of forgiveness but the profound strength of love's endurance. She was no longer just a woman shaped by tragedy. She was a mother, a protector, a beacon of hope ready to embrace whatever lay ahead with open arms and an open heart. And so, as the days stretched forward, Amanda walked this new path with a quiet grace, her spirit lighter, her soul rekindled. The journey was far from over, but for the first time in years she felt whole, a woman reborn through the unyielding power of truth, love, and the promise of tomorrow. The days that followed were imbued with a quiet magic, the kind that seeps into the soul and gently reshapes the contours of a broken life. Amanda stood in the soft glow of the morning light, the air around her humming with a newfound sense of possibility. The mansion, once a hollow shell of memories and pain, now felt alive, as if every creak in the floorboard and every flutter of the curtains whispered promises of healing and renewal. The silence that had once suffocated her was replaced by a symphony of hope. Liam, with his brightening eyes and blossoming voice, was the heart of this transformation. Each small word he spoke, each tentative step toward connection, was a victory not just for him but for Amanda as well. She watched him play in the garden, his laughter a melody that filled the space where sorrow had once lingered. The boy who had been so deeply silenced was now beginning to sing, his spirit unfurling like the petals of a flower turning toward the sun. The reunion with Elena, when it finally came, was nothing short of miraculous. The moment their eyes met, years of separation dissolved into a fragile but fierce embrace, a testament to the enduring power of love. Elena's face, etched with lines of hardship and hope, mirrored Amanda's own journey, a path marked by sacrifice, resilience, and the quiet strength of a mother's heart. They stood together, not as strangers, but as women bound by shared pain and an unbreakable bond. In that embrace, the past no longer held them captive. Instead, it became the foundation upon which they built their future, a future where forgiveness and understanding blossomed alongside trust. Amanda saw in Elena not just a lost love but a partner in healing, a guardian of Liam's happiness, and a reminder that even the deepest wounds could mend with time and care. The days that followed were filled with gentle laughter, whispered dreams, and the weaving of new memories. Amanda found herself growing into a role she had once feared, not just as a protector, but as a nurturer, a woman who embraced the messy, beautiful complexity of family. The mansion, bathed in the soft hues of twilight, became a sanctuary where love was spoken without words, where hope was an unspoken promise in every shared glance and every tender touch. Amanda's heart, once heavy with regret and fear, now beat with a steady rhythm of peace. She understood that healing was not a destination but a journey, one she was ready to walk with open eyes and an open heart. The shadows of the past would always be there, but they no longer defined her. Instead, they were reminders of the strength she had found in the darkest of times. As the sun set on that day, painting the sky with strokes of pink and gold, Amanda stood at the window, watching Liam and Elena in the garden, their silhouettes framed by the fading light. A gentle breeze carried the scent of blooming flowers and the promise of tomorrow. She smiled softly, feeling a profound gratitude for the twists of fate that had brought them back together. In the quiet of that moment, Amanda knew that love, patient, enduring and fierce, had healed what was once broken. The future stretched out before them, vast and uncharted, but filled with the radiant light of hope. And for the first time in a long time, Amanda believed in the beauty of new beginnings.